Hey, it's Jeff Zito. Thanks for checking out another episode of the Celebrity Jobber podcast. We've got new episodes dropping each and every Friday. And this Friday's guest, Kevin Heffernan, who plays the role of Officer Farva in the Super Troopers movies, and Super Troopers 3 hits theaters this weekend. He'll be my guest this coming Friday here on Celebrity Jobber. Please hit that subscribe button wherever you're listening, whether it's Apple Podcast or Spotify. Hit the subscribe button, please. Would love a 5-star rating, and if you could, please leave a review and or a comment. You can check out our past guests and episodes up on CelebrityJobber.com. And Wednesdays, we do Celebrity Jobber Rewind. As we just hit the 200 episode milestone, we highlight an earlier episode of the podcast on Wednesdays. And today's Celebrity Jobber Rewind goes all the way back to episode 141 with Kevin Smith, who you know mostly from the Jay and Silent Bob movies, Mallrats, Dogma. He also had that show Comic Book Man. He does a podcast. Just celebrated his 56th birthday back on August 2nd. Today's Celebrity Jobber Rewind, episode number 141 with filmmaker Kevin Smith.
The Celebrity Jobber Podcast with Jeff Zito. If you like what you hear, please subscribe, give a 5-star rating, and leave a review. Check out all our past episodes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you pod. What if these celebrities weren't famous? What would they have become? What was their first job? We're about to find out.
Can you hear me?
Got you. How are you?
I'm sorry, I'm not dressed. I was.
Oh my God, I got dressed for the both of us, so don't worry about it.
That's good. I was like, oh, wait a second. Oh, it's Zoom. Okay, here we go. This is
I know, right? Isn't that crazy? They told me, like, you're doing a radio tour, and I was like, oh, right on. And then this morning, they're like, get dressed.
All right on, man. Well, it's good to meet you. I'm from Summit, New Jersey, born and raised.
Oh, get out of here, man.
Yeah.
That was my Aunt Connie and my Uncle Mike lived up there. I know that
really?
area
Okay.
by Chatham and stuff, yeah.
Right on. And I actually do a radio show in Monmouth County at the Rat, so I'm on the Rat at night.
Oh, my God.
So here we are. We're breaking bread already. You know how it is.
Really are,
Jersey people. What is it about us? We have something with each other. What is it?
There's a currency, a cultural currency that comes with being from New Jersey, where throughout the rest of the country, people feel like you're authentic because of where you came from. Nothing you say or do, just because you're from New Jersey, there's a layer of authenticity that covers you, that you're granted, that a lot of people wouldn't necessarily be granted. So I've found it's a currency I've spent across my entire career, man. And oddly enough, out here in this business, I don't know if it's the same for everything, but out here in this business over the course of like 31 years, every fourth person you encounter was from New Jersey. It's a state
like
that breeds a lot of people who are like, I got to get out. And then they do.
You're right. Tell me a little bit about growing up. You grew up in a nice area of New Jersey, but tell me about your mom and your dad and growing up.
I grew up in a beautiful area of New Jersey on the Jersey Shore, not the Jersey Shore, from the fucking TV show, but the Jersey Shore, the true Jersey Shore.
The real Jersey Shore, right.
Asbury Park, the Sandy Hook area. Sandy Hook was my beach. I grew up in a town called Highlands. And so we grew up, my mom doesn't let me say poor, so I have to say lower middle class. So we didn't have anything, but we were loved. Like, oh my God, my parents, man. Like, I went crazy a couple of years ago, 2.5 years ago, and I was in a mental institution. And they're constantly pulling at your parents. They're like, man, this all probably began in childhood. What did your parents do? And like, I was there for a month, and I was like, kids, my parents didn't do anything. They were like, I'm shocked they figured shit out as well as they did with no money and being that early into their parental careers and whatnot. They didn't like fuck me up. They actually made my life pleasant, enjoyable and stuff. So I'm not like one of those people that was like, oh, my childhood is marked with, fucking tragedy and anger and shit like that. I never wanted to leave home. I thought my parents rocked. So even though we didn't have money, didn't matter, man. We did things. Like my father, since he worked at the post office, insisted on going on vacation every year so he didn't like go postal and shit like that. So my mom would figure out a way to make a buck stretch. She had 3 kids and a husband and herself to get places. And she was an absolute whiz. So even though we grew up with no money, we got to go to a lot of cool places, like definitely within the continental United States. But then we went to places like the United States Virgin Islands and the Bahamas. Like my mom knew how to stretch a buck, man. And my father, as I'd learned later in life, just needed to get away because he hated his mindless job at the post office and stuff. And also he dreamed of seeing the world. Oddly enough, they didn't raise a kid who felt the same way. I'd much rather just stay in my house forever if I could. I'm a house bug and stuff. But the career has taken me out into the world far more than I think I ever would have enjoyed with the world left to my own devices.
Celebrity Jobber. The Celebrity Jobber Podcast with Jeff Zito.
So mom and dad, not in Hollywood. They're regular people. Dad worked as a postal worker, mom, homemaker, and you, New Jersey. This seems like you had to be thinking when it all started, this is a dream. I can't get there from here, can I?
Oh, there was, I grew up watching movies my whole life and never once thought about like, oh, I could do that, or that's a job for me, or a job for anyone. I just assumed you were born in Hollywood and that's how that stuff happened. But I saw Richard Linklater's film Slacker on my 21st birthday. I went up to Manhattan and saw it at the Angelica Theater and fell in love with it. I was like, oh my God, if this counts as a movie, I think I could make a movie too. So it helps if you want to be it to see it first. And I saw somebody do something where I was like, all right, well, that's special. But at the same time, I think I can decode that. I think I can reverse engineer it and maybe try it for myself. So indie film was where the dreams began at age 21. That's why I started thinking like, maybe I could make a movie. And it turns out that I could. It really panned out. So I was working at this convenience store. I'd worked at a series of convenience stores over the course of my life. And so I had enough stories, enough experience. And I remember sitting around Quick Stop, the convenience store where I shot the movie. And I was like, nobody's ever made a movie set in a convenience store. Like I've seen scenes like Fast Times at Ridgemont High ends in a convenience store, but like never seen a whole movie set in a convenience store. So I knew it had the novelty of not having been done. What I didn't understand and wouldn't understand for decades is why that movie connects. Because I used to be like, I don't get it. Why people like it so much. Did everyone work at a convenience store? No, everyone did not work at a convenience store, but everyone has had a shitty job that they didn't like.
Absolutely.
And that's all Clerks is about. Clerks is about everything you do at the job you hate to forget that you're at the job you hate. So you kind of try to live a life at the job and, you try to have fun, goof off, have dopey conversations. And because of that movie translated. You didn't have to necessarily come from New Jersey or work in a convenience store, but you could watch that flick and be like, I feel seen.
That convenience store was your shitty job. Can you tell me about your first job and maybe some other shitty jobs before that one?
Absolutely. My first job was in a restaurant biz. I was a busboy. So Highlands, our hometown, a lot of seafood restaurants. So I got to work at this place called Long John's, not to be confused with the fast food franchise Long John's. This was a classy sit-down dining restaurant that had nothing to do with the fast food place. So they were world famous on the East Coast for their popovers. People would come from New York for these like popover is essentially like a dinner roll that's kind of like a croissant, but it's got nothing in it. It's all airy.
Okay.
So I worked there at age 13. I started bussing. And then I stayed in restaurants for a while. So I was at Long John's, and then I was at Hook, Line, and Sinker. Then I was at, it was just restaurant after restaurant. But one day I started working in convenience stores. I got a job, which was the first one, Cohen's Deli in town. And, I'd been there. I'd gone to Cohen's throughout my entire life, pick up lunch meat or whatnot. So I applied for a job and I got a counter job. And I fell in love with convenience store work. It was so easy. Plus, it's the crossroads of the world. Like you meet everybody. You see everybody. If you're, working at your town's local convenience store, the whole town comes in, man. So I like the social aspect of it. I hate the work aspect of it. Like I hated having to be at a place at a specific time and whatnot. But I loved eating the free food.
Sure.
Like, and I had access to whatever I wanted to eat. I could make myself a sandwich and stuff. I loved dealing with people, talking to people and stuff. People having to talk to me because like I was the thing they had to get through in order to get through that transaction and stuff. And so most people in life would probably opt to stick to themselves and not talk to others because of that job. Like it was forced socialization, which I think was good for me. Cause at the end of the day, I'm probably more introverted than anything else. So I loved working convenience stores, man. And I kept doing that. I stopped working as a busboy at restaurants. Like my brother was a waiter at restaurants. So like the thought was like, well, eventually I guess one day I'll learn to wait the tables as well.
Right.
Once I discovered convenience stores though, I stayed there, man. That was so I worked, the first one was Cohen's. Then I worked at High Hills. Then I worked at Krauser's, Andy K's, and eventually Quick Stop.
Quick Stop, that's the big one in New Jersey before Wawa, just to let everybody know.
The Celebrity Jobber Podcast with Jeff Zito. Celebrity Jobber.
I do a podcast called Celebrity Jobber, and it's basically what your first job was. So I had Q on from the Jokers. His first job was with you. So can you tell me, what did you do to employ this guy? What was the job that he was doing for you? So
Quinn, or Q, sent me a cassette of like this incident at a bookstore. He was, I had a message board, viewskew.com. There's a message board there. And he had put up a post where he was like, I live in Staten Island. I went to get the Mallrats book, like, cause we did this Mallrats screenplay book, at the bookstore at the mall. And the guy was shitting on you and Mallrats. And so I wrote, well, why don't you give the bookstore dork some shit, man? And so he went in with a tape recorder and was like, hey, man, remember I was here last week? You just hear it and stuff, the audio. He says, remember I was here last week looking for Mallrats? And the guy was like, yeah, I think so. And he goes, yeah. And you said that Kevin Smith sucks. Well, guess what? I told him. And he said to come in here and give the bookstore dork some shit. He's screaming at it. He's like, what are you going to do about it? And whatnot. And the guy's like, please leave. So I heard that tape and I was like, you want a job? And so Quinn came to work with us. And his first gig was running the sales, the website where we sold signed posters and T-shirts and shit. So Brian Quinn's job for the longest time, this, mind you, is before, you could use a credit card on the internet. Like we started when it was check or money order or COD or something like that. So he would be the guy that would open up an envelope, take your check, fill your order, put a shirt in an envelope, put a sticker on it and send it out to you. Wow. So he worked with us forever. Like I see him every night on tour with Dogma. I've been touring Dogma for the last month and stuff because it comes out June 5th everywhere. So every night I've been watching the show 2 shows a night and then doing Q&As afterwards. And young Brian Quinn is in the opening scene when Ben and Matt are walking.
Get out of here.
Yeah, he's in the background.
I didn't know that.
Right as they're talking about, going to Wisconsin and stuff like that. As they exit the frame, Brian is right in the back playing with a rubber movie doll. So yeah, he's been with us ever since, even before that. I think he came to work with us post Mallrats. So probably like late 95, early 96. So we shot Dogma in 98. So he was still working with us at that point.
Kevin, I know we have to go and I want to wrap up, but I definitely, Dogma 25-year anniversary, you're re-releasing it. We're just talking about how you were, doing some Q&A and it's going to be in theaters everywhere June 5th, correct?
Yeah, it comes out June 5th, like on 1,500 screens, which is nuts because it wasn't on that many screens when we came out in 1999. But yeah, it's like a summer movie, man. You can go see it. This is starting Thursday.
Unbelievable, man. I can't believe it's been that long because now I feel old. And, it feels like it was just yesterday. Pleasure to meet you. Pleasure to talk to you. I just wanted to tell you, my wife is a huge fan. She doesn't collect comic books. She listens to the podcast, or she has, my sister lives in Belmar. She's wanted to visit the store. So she's
not far. It's about 40 minutes from Belmar, man. 30 on a no traffic day. It's pretty easy to get there.
So she's a huge fan. She listens to Tell 'Em Steve Dave. I don't know how she got there. Like she likes Clerks, she likes the films, but she's become a huge Kevin Smith fan. So I just wanted to let you know that, man.
Please pass on my thanks and my absolute best. There are very few Kevin Smith fans left in the world, so I appreciate it.
Right on, man. Thanks again. Appreciate it.
No worries, man. Thanks for hanging out.
You got it. You know, Kevin Smith has become somewhat of a Renaissance man and a cultural icon. You know, talked about growing up in Highlands, just outside of Red Bank in New Jersey. It's a nice area. And basically, he was saying that Clerks, he thinks, is so popular because everybody can relate to having a crappy job. His crappy job was working at that convenience store where he shot Clerks. Just one of his jobs, not his first job, which was working in restaurants, which he did a lot of. He also mentioned how his dad, who worked for the post office, absolutely hated his friggin' job. Kevin's childhood was scheduled around his dad's late shifts at the post office, and his dad grew to despise his job, which greatly influenced Kevin, who remembers his father finding it difficult on some days to just get up and go to work. So he vowed never to work at something that he didn't enjoy. You know, my dad has always told me from the time I'm a little kid, enjoy your job, love what you do, and you won't work a day in your life. I think that's pretty good advice. Kevin says on his 21st birthday, it changed his life. He saw the movie Slacker, and the guy that made the movie, Richard Linklater, shot the movie in his hometown of Austin, Texas. And I guess that moment was really eye-opening and really inspired Kevin. You don't have to be in Hollywood on some huge soundstage. He said, I can do a movie right here in my home state of New Jersey. And Kevin Smith just celebrated his 56th birthday, and that was the 35th anniversary of him seeing that film that completely changed his life and caused him to go into the film business. Who knows? Without that moment of clarity, Kevin Smith could still be working at a local convenience store in Highlands, New Jersey. Anyway, thanks again for checking out the Celebrity Jobber Rewind, episode number 141 with filmmaker Kevin Smith. All past guests and episodes up on CelebrityJobber.com. Please don't forget to subscribe wherever you listen, whether it's Apple Podcast or Spotify. Please hit that subscribe button. Would love a 5-star rating, and please leave a comment and or a review. New episode drops this Friday with comedian Kevin Heffernan, who plays the role of Officer Farva in the new Super Troopers 3 movie, hitting theaters nationwide this coming weekend. So I'll see you back here then, right here on the Celebrity Jobber Podcast. Thanks for listening. I'm Jeff Zito.